Hey, Charlie here, and I want to talk a little bit about VA home loans. I work with a lot of veteran buyers, and one of the things that I hear a lot is, hey, I'm a veteran, I get a free home, right? You hear about that no down payment. It's pretty exciting. It's a great benefit, but there are expenses to buying a home using a VA home loan, and I want you to be prepared so that you have the most success possible. First thing is earnest money. Have you ever heard of that? Earnest money. In San Antonio here, it's about 1% of the sales price of the home. This is your skin in the game showing the seller you're serious about purchasing a home. And while it is possible to negotiate for lower earnest deposits, it doesn't show you as a strong, financially fit buyer. And in this very competitive market we're in right now, it's not going to bode well for your future success. So I recommend you keep that 1% for your earnest money in your checking account so we can write that earnest money check to the title company. Next, you're going to need about $100. That's your option deposit money. That gives you the right to do inspections. And if you find something wrong with the inspection, you can back out. Maybe you just wake up the next day and you say, you know what? I didn't want to buy that house after all. You can just terminate the contract and get all of that 1% earnest money back if you have that option deposit into the seller and you got it into the seller in time. There's a time frame, so watch that. Work with your agent on that. Next time to get out your checkbook when you're buying a home here in San Antonio is when it is time for the home inspection. We always recommend our buyers get a third-party, independent, and licensed home inspection. We can suggest some if you don't know any. You can go on Google. Just make sure they've got that TREC license and that they are reputable. Most of them that are any good have a lot of online reviews just like everybody. So we can suggest one or you can find your own. But it's going to cost about $450 to have the average home here in San Antonio inspected. Maybe more if there's septic, if there's a well, if it's a really big home, if there's outbuildings, guest houses, mom-in-law suite, stuff like that. It can get up there. I've seen some total inspections upwards of $1,200, but that's rare. More like 450 normally. And for VA buyers, you're also going to need to get that termite inspection done. That's going to be about another $75, but most of the time you can get that money back at the closing. So keep that in mind. And if the inspector shows something that's a real big deal, like something with the roof or maybe plumbing or electrical issues, you do have the opportunity to try to renegotiate some repairs with that seller. Even though the contract says as is, your realtor will work with you to get that seller to work on some of those repairs. If they don't repair everything, maybe they'll give you some extra money towards your closing costs to save you some money so you can do it yourself after you move in. Next time to spend some money is the appraisal. That's going to be about $500 typically here in San Antonio. I've seen some cases where the appraisal fee is deferred to the closing. If you were lucky enough to get some assistance towards your closing costs, for example, from the seller, you may be able to use those to pay for your appraiser. But let's just assume your lender won't let you do that and you need to order that up front before closing. It'll be about $500. Now, this seems pretty complicated, doesn't it? Well, it's not. We're almost to the closing table. We're almost to get your keys. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour of signing paperwork. You have to have your ID. If you do need to bring money to closing for those closing costs we were talking about, which are typically almost 12 months of insurance paid in advance, you're going to pay some property tax in advance as well to set up your escrows with the loan. You're also going to pay for all the interest from the day you close up till whenever your first home payment is. Don't get too scared. We've had a great success record lately of getting sellers to help offset some of those costs. So let's talk about that when the time is right. Eventually, though, you're done signing. You wait for the loan to fund. That's when your mortgage company sends the money to the title company so they can disperse it to the seller. And all of a sudden, you've got keys to your brand new home. Are you ready to get started? Me too. Let's do it. Give me a call, 210-478-8555. I'm excited to help you buy your home.